Hello, everyone. My name is Juan, and I'm the CEO and co founder at Finboot, a green supply chain management company working with the world's largest capital intensive businesses, helping them with traceability of their low carbon, circular, and renewable products. Today, I'm here for another episode of our Green Supply Chain Insights, a web series where I bring in my own perspective on green supply chain management, the current state of the industry, and some of the most exciting innovations in this space. In our last episode, I talked about regulation. I gave a glance over some of the major regulatory changes that are coming up, specifically looking at EU legislation that has a global impact. I then zoom in on EUDR, which is the European's regulation for deforestation free products. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, I encourage you to go and have a look. We've now created a space where you can see all of our Green Supply Chain Insights episodes. You'll see the link for that in the comment section or in the video description, depending on where you're watching us from. But let's get on to today's episode. Today, we're not going to do legal talk. Today, we're going to talk about money, specifically about how to monetize green supply chain. A lot of people are under the impression that the energy transition, the shift to a more circular economy, and the broader decarbonization of our industries is a transformation purely driven by regulation. That the regulator sets the bar and then businesses follow as they must be compliant. And I'm not saying that's not the case. That is certainly a piece of that puzzle, but that's precisely all it is. It's a piece of a much larger puzzle and a much bigger business opportunity. Recent McKinsey data prove that consumers care about sustainability and that they back it up with their wallets. Products that make ESG claims have disproportionate growth. On average, across 32 different categories, consumer products with ESG claims have a 1.7% higher growth than products with no claims, with some categories like paper or plastics having as much as 20% higher growth. In fact, when it comes to sustainable packaging, Allied Market Research points to a market size of $470 billion by 2027. And if we look at circular economy as a whole, the Ellen MacArthur Foundation estimates a global market size of $4.5 trillion by 2030. The whole concept of green supply chain management is to implement an economic and industrial complex that is designed to minimize waste and maximize resource efficiency. So your customers are paying more for sustainable products, and you are becoming more resource efficient. This represents a very clear impact on your top line and on your bottom line. And you might say, well, sure, maybe for some, but not really in my industry. And I'll admit that not all product categories are experiencing such disproportionate growth. In terms of ESG claims, the same McKinsey study had one outlier, which was baby products. Things like food, formula, or diapers, where ESG claims have no impact on growth. But for large industrial manufacturers, it's a completely different story. Capital intensive organizations are already benefiting from hefty premiums on circular products and renewable products. There are premiums on recycled plastic, there's premiums on green steel, and on sustainable fuels. The big shift is that now buyers that are paying those premiums are demanding that those claims are supported by evidence-backed data. There's been so much greenwashing in the past 10 years, and we've all been witnesses of that, which is why it makes sense that consumers, NGOs, and governments are on the lookout. That means that consumer-facing brands can no longer afford to make empty claims on ESG. And that has a direct impact in their entire supply chain. That brings me back to that importance of green supply chain management, the importance of traceability, and to the importance of trust. Companies need to start now to capture, share, and monitor data throughout their value chains. And they need the right tools to do so. And by the right tools, I most certainly do not mean Microsoft Excel. Listen, Excel definitely has a place in the workplace, and I use it for a number of different tasks, but it is not a good data sharing tool, and it is not a good collaboration tool. It already gets fairly unstable when you try to use it collaboratively within one business unit or one department. But trying to expand that across business units, or worse, across supplier and customer networks, you are almost guaranteeing that there will be a duplication of work, that there will be disputes that need to be resolved, and that ultimately that lack of audit trail will make that data highly unreliable, opening up the organization to unwanted and honestly avoidable risks. Luckily, there are some alternative technology choices, and there is a rigorous and proven process and methodology to onboard them. And me and my team are here to help with that. We've already helped first movers like Savvy, Cepsa, and Repsol successfully onboard and scale up green supply chain software within their organizations. It's all a matter of getting started and doing so before it is too late. Because, and now allow me to get back to my main message for today, which is that huge business opportunity behind the monetization of green supply chain management. Your buyers, they have very little appetite for failure. Failing to supply those circular and renewable product alternatives, failing to provide strong ESG claims to support the market position of those products, or failing to communicate the evidence-backed data that supports your claims will result in significant business losses, which will likely put the future of your organization, or at the very least of your business unit, at risk. I leave you with that message, which is not really meant to scare you in any ways. It's kind of more meant to startle you into action. I say that because there's also urgency in activating these initiatives. This huge business opportunity that I'm talking about is only temporary. Once the regulatory push catches on, these practices will become the new normal. Depending on your sector, you got between 3 to 5 years, and in some cases, maybe as much as 10 years, where you can financially and reputationally benefit from this opportunity. And being a first mover will put you in a strong position as we explore new revenue streams and new business opportunities that can only be unlocked with digital traceability and green supply chain management. But I'll leave some of those more groundbreaking or long-term opportunities for a future episode. To close on today's episode, let me just say that I hope you've found today's insights interesting, and encourage you once more to stay tuned to the series and to share your feedback with us. And I say that with somewhat selfish reasons, as your constructive feedback will help us improve. And if there is hopefully some positive feedback, that will help motivate me even more. So remember that new episodes are coming out every month. If you have any specific ideas on what you would like for me to discuss next, or if you either agree or disagree with any of the ideas that I share here today, please head down into the comments section and let's get the conversation started. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.